they're not going to make money.
Right.
I mean, I know they'll learn a lesson, but I mean, why have to go through that lesson if you know that you're not going to make money during the lockout? I mean, and you know, like I actually read, which I didn't even think about it, but there could technically still be games during the lockout. It's just players aren't going to get paid, so obviously the players will probably choose not to play because they're not getting paid. But that's the whole point, though. It's just they're not getting paid. They're fighting for more money, yet they're going to go through a whole year of not getting paid. To prove what? Like, do you want more money? I mean, after the lockout, do you think the CBA will change and that they'll expand and they won't cut salary and they'll increase salary? I mean, is that what they think? Is that their hope? Because I don't see that happening.
I'm sure it is, but it's not going to happen. And I would respect all these basketball players. They make, like I said, $1 million. I don't know how much, but I'm just saying that if they do not get paid and there is a lockout, but they still get to play, like you said, I hope they play. They're making over, like I said, millions and millions of dollars. And to show the fans their appreciation of coming to the games and buying their, the souvenirs at every game and supporting their organization, I would hope that they would still play.
But that would almost be contradicting what they're doing, though, because the reason, I mean, and it's got to be the majority of the players, obviously, otherwise we wouldn't be having a lockout. But
I think it's the players' union that's not setting the standard.
But they're representing the players, though.
Yeah, but the players aren't representing the players' union. There's people that coordinate.
Well, I'm sure that there's players that would agree with us in saying that this lockout is absurd.
And we don't have to make that much money to play basketball.
Right, but the players are being represented by the players' union. So, I would have to say the majority of the players agree with the players' union. Otherwise, they wouldn't be represented by them. So the players, if the players, I would think it would be great if they came out and still played during a lockout. But if they're being represented by this group that's trying to fight to get them more money and in so not playing for a season, then it would just be almost contradicting their beliefs to play during a lockout, because they're trying to make a point and that they're siding with the players union. During a lockout, typically they don't play.
Can you get rid of the players union?
I have no idea. I doubt it.
Somebody's
got to stick up for the players. I mean, unfortunately, it's in greedy circumstances, but somebody has to stick up for the players. Otherwise, they get not to fight for the players union right now, because obviously what they're doing is, we're looking at a lockout.
Right.
But if the players didn't have the players union, then the league could set all the standards. It would never happen, but the league could, if there wasn't a players union, they could set the CBA, and we could have $5 million maximum contract. And players. Nobody would go for that. Everybody would go over to Europe.
Yep.
Where there isn't really, a governing body. They go through FIBA and the Euro League, but teams over there can shell out $50 million to a player if they wanted to, and not really have an effect, because they know over there, if LeBron were to sign with, let's say Rome or something for $50 million, not only does he make a lot of money, but now they're going to make a lot of money because they have LeBron, who's one of the best basketball players on the planet, playing for their team.
Right.
And they can LeBron could dominate in Europe, so they wouldn't need any other players. They could give all the money to one player and get 8 or 10 players that are decent. But that's the thing. The players do need to be represented by somebody or some organization, but
and then you have players like Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury who don't like it over there, who aren't. Allen Iverson doesn't like it over there. Stephon, I don't know about, but they're not making much money over there. And they're making money, but they're not making.
They're making more money than they would make over here.
Exactly.
So,
what I'm saying is, the money that they're making right now, Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury, the players after the lockout, I see, will be making that much money.
Yeah, well, if they,
organize a set standard and all that.
Right. If there's a lockout next year and a lot of the players decide to play, which I mean, it's not like they're just going to sit on the couch for a year.
Oh
so,
yeah, I know.
You know, a lot of them could go to the D League.
Go back
a lot
to
of them
school.
could go. I mean, probably not for a year because they don't intend for the lockout to be more than a year.
Right.
But you can see a lot of players going to Europe, which is I think, you know.
Like you said,
I'm not. Yeah, I mean, you can't say you can't tell a player you can't go to Europe if you're in the NBA, which is, you know. But what the players are thinking of is
we support European basketball and FIFA.
Right.
So I mean,
what the players are thinking is, all right, we want the minimum to be raised. We want salaries to go up. If you're not going to cut our salaries, we're going to go to Europe and make twice as much as we would make in the United States to prove to you that you need to have the salaries increased because we're not going to play for the salaries that they have right now.
Right.
So it would be one thing if the players...
Then does Europe decrease their salary too? Because we're decreasing our salary?
If Europe can get a bunch of NBA players to come over, they'll do whatever they can. They'll pay them as much as they can because they know that it's going to make their team and their city, you know, prosper.
It's because it's a wider range. I mean, the NBA is usually just some America players from America, and you know, you get Ricky Rubio, you get